And we are live. What is up, everybody? Aaron the dog back with Lucky Locks for week 6, over halfway through the Contender Series. A pretty successful Contender Series, speaking from my end. So far with picks and bets, it's nice when that can line up. Lucky doing pretty well as well. How you doing tonight, or today, though, I should say, going a little early. Thank you for everybody joining us early today.
Yeah, a little earlier today. Yeah, I'm doing well, man. Yeah, it's been a pretty good season. I mean, picks wise, there's been good weeks and bad weeks, but bet wise has been very good. Basically, I think I've only lost one bet so far this year in Contender Series, so it's been good, man. And I like this card as well. I think there's a couple of good fights on here that are going to be fun to watch tomorrow. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I'm excited to hear what you think about these.
Yeah, I'm excited to chat with you as always about these fights. We got 2 cents, we got Moise in the chat. Yeah, we'll go ahead and hop on in here, and I'll bring up our good old Tapology page. All right, starting at 135, Rafael Uchekbu taking on Cody Chovanec. That's what I'm going to go with, the Canadian here against the Brit. I think this should be a pretty good fight. I like the style of both guys for sure. I think it's going to be mostly on the feet. I could see whoever's having the shorter end of the striking going to the grappling first. In this case, Rafael Ujekbu, 30 years old now, 5'10", bantamweight. Lengthier fighters fought over in Bellator and PFL against Ruiz. Kind of that step up in competition, did get exposed, particularly the takedown defense. Got exposed in that spot. I think that he's looked better since then. He's facing a good level of competition, getting finishes late in some of these fights, even in the 5th round. He's been in the 5th round multiple times and gotten 5th round finishes. I like that quite a bit. He fights at range really well. Cody Chovanec, more of just a boxer, kind of a brawler, like gets frustrated in a few of his fights, I've noticed, against not like amazing levels of competition either. The Gage Gill fight was definitely a very good win there, and survived kind of the early onslaught there. Didn't look that great against Jordan Howard. Gets kind of frustrated at times in his fights. I feel like I'm not sure he even won that fight, but could be an off performance. The Nathan Small fight, losing round 1 against Nathan Small. Nathan Small not doing a whole lot in his MMA career. Don't feel bad for not knowing that name. So again, like we only have what to go on here, but I feel I've seen Cody Chovanec be the undefeated fighter who just needs that loss, I think, to get a little better. Has gotten a little lucky, so maybe some of those wins that aren't really wins, he ends up learning those lessons. But I think he ends up getting frustrated here with Ujukwu. I think the leg kicks could be a big factor here. I feel like Rafael is going to work the range, and then Cody's going to go to some takedowns. I don't feel like his takedowns are going to be effective enough, though. So I got Rafael here and feel rather confident about it. I think he gets a decision, though. I don't think anybody gets a finish in this fight.
Yeah, Shavancek is 8-0, turned 27 this year. Unified champ, won it with a calf slicer. Was set to defend it in his next fight, but missed weight. So he still won the fight, at least on paper. Whatever you think about that decision. But he wasn't eligible to defend it in that fight, obviously, because of the weight miss. So he's a Niagara top team guy, and he has some decent wins. I think Jake Gavreau is a nice win, and Hakeem Dawodu is going to be fighting him next for a belt in the regional. So Gavreau is a decent fighter. Gage Gill is a good win. I think Harley King is a little bit better fighter than what his record looks like. But yeah, Shavancek, kind of a Muay Thai style stand-up. He's got good use of his knees. He's a pretty good kicker. Wrestling is pretty decent too. He's kind of an all-rounder. But the thing is, he's just not really a guy who's like, a lethal striker or suffocating wrestler, but he does have some of everything. I just don't know that he has like, an elite weapon in his bag. He's been in some 5-rounders lately. So, maybe there's a bit of a worry that he might start a little bit slow, but yeah, not really a guy with massive knockout power. He really needs to kind of get off to a good start. And, I'm going to kind of echo your sentiment here and say that, I felt like his last performance was a little bit flat. Uchegbu on the other side, 10-1. Lost via decision on PFL. He was double champ at FCC at 135 and 145. And he's a little bigger than Cody is, a little bit quicker as well, I think. And I feel like he has a little bit more snap, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I
A
agree.
little bit erratic. Kind of type of guy who could, miss a kick and slip and end up on bottom, type of
Definitely.
thing. Whereas, Shivanchek is more of like a steadier, more measured kind of presence in the cage. So yeah, I think there's going to be opportunities for Cody to land some counters. There will be some opportunities for him to get entries on takedowns, but I don't know, man. I've just seen him look flat twice in a row now, and Chegbu is athletic and goes out there with a little more enthusiasm. I think he has more weapons, and I just haven't seen a ton of finishing upside from Shivanchek. So I'm going to lean Uchegbu here, but I'm not super confident.
Yeah, I just seen Cody get frustrated in a few of his wins too. And he throws a lot of kind of spinning junk in every single one of his fights. I just don't think that will turn out great in this spot. I feel like this is it's hard to say a levels fight, but I do think this is a levels fight for me. So Rafael at minus 185, I get it. Plus 145 on Cody here. I like this one to go to distance as well. I think these guys match up pretty well overall. This is a good card. If we didn't say it off the top, and I kind of had bad timing on saying it's a good card because this next fight is the worst fight on the card. Isu Wang taking on Patty McCroy here at 185. I mean, Isu Wang, he's he's 8-1 now. He's fought some fights at 170, and he just kind of throws a leg kick and an overhand, and he doesn't really set them up. He throws those two strikes. I mean, it's like you don't see a lot of bigger weights in this region for a reason, and I guess he's kind of their hope here. But we saw in the weigh-ins, the face-offs, Patty McCroy is significantly larger. He's also significantly got, I think, a better game plan and better overall set of tools. I guess he's fought the better level of competition as well. I haven't been blown away by Patty either, including on his tough fights, which I watched. So yeah, there's a couple extra fights. There's essentially two 8-1 fighters. I just think Patty has some physical advantages here, and overall is the BMF, as I say, better MMA fighter by a significant range. I just think Wang has KO or bust here, and I don't think I'm just not stunned by the power I've seen either. So I think Patty probably gets the finish by submission, if I had to guess. Shout out to Moise, so I'll say guillotine.
Yeah, Huang, I mean, pretty much all his fights have been in Road FC. I think that's probably the best show in Korea. Black Combat is okay too. Huang has been at Extreme Couture with some good guys. Was supposed to fight Will Curry here, I think. Curry had issues. I think it was visa problems getting to the States. So, yeah, listen, I wasn't blown away by Insu Huang's tape. He keeps his hands low, a little bit low volume, a little bit low urgency. Doesn't seem super quick. There just wasn't a ton there that I, was really impressed by. Patty McCrory as well, though. I'm not really a big fan of this guy either. And outside of the Ultimate Fighter, he's fought one good guy and lost. And
Correct.
on the Ultimate Fighter, he got that guillotine against Mark Hume. If they fought again today, I think I would probably pick Mark Hume to win that fight even still. McCrory also got submitted by Valentin, who's not very good as we've seen. But yeah, 6-1 fighters, 4-1 in Cage Warriors. He seems at least a little more enthusiastic about putting on some pressure, which is one thing I can say.
Yes.
And might get himself caught, I could see that. But yeah, I just think he's a little bit better. I'm going to pick McCrory as well, but he's really just as a prospect not a guy that I'm excited about.
No, I'm worried he runs into a finish and gets a contract. And they're like, his name's Patty. That's awesome. And he was on the Ultimate Fighter. We can have Joe Martinez introduce him that way when he's in the Apex. It's amazing. And then 2 cents with the hot take. He likes Huang. Huang is going to chin Patty. The striking isn't remotely close. That's if he throws a strike, 2 cents. He kind of doesn't throw a whole lot out there. One thing I'll say about Huang, his tattoos are really cool. Great artwork there. So there's my nice thing about along the Stop Asian hate here. But we're both on Patty. Neither one of us are ever betting a minus 225. Next fight of the night. I'm very excited for this one. I think this is a really good fight. Tommy Gant taking on Adam Livingston. Bomb here. Tommy Gant's just kind of gone out there in a year and fought 12 times between amateur and pro, and he's just kind of fighting whoever he can. He's an NC State former, very decorated wrestler, 32 years old now. 6 foot tall, fighting down at lightweight now, getting the finishes, looking much better with the striking. His takedowns coming up against the cage, very like MMA, like relevant takedowns. So he's clearly worked with a cage, worked with the equipment prior to making this sprint into MMA, and now 12 fights later in a year, and here he is. And he's fighting, he's fighting not an amazing level of competition. He's fighting who you can find in a year, of course. But it's the way he's, knocking out like the Benavidez fight, I really, like the overall, raw skills he has here. 32 years old. He's starting, late, but the wrestling is going to be, I think, a huge edge here against Livingston. Livingston, is a very good striker, very long. I could see him coming back here with another opportunity after a win or two, maybe getting a little exposed with regards to maybe the takedown defense. I think he could get taken down and eventually kind of beat up and put away by Gant here. I'm pretty high on Gant. I really did like what I've seen so far. The competition level, I think he should be able to step up here. Livingston, particularly the last fight against Hugo, I think he's not quite ready for this, and I think there could be kind of a physicality advantage, but Livingston's no joke on the feet either. I think there's a finish that comes in this fight, and I think it probably ends by knockout, but two very different ways of knocking out opponents here, I feel like. But I like Tommy Gant. I like these highly credentialed wrestling prospects who are a little bit older, who seem to adapt and morph well with the other skills here. So I'm going to hope and wish that Gant proves the goods. Gant by knockout for me.
Yeah, you mentioned Gant, North Carolina State. He was an ACC champion, I think. I also believe he was an All-American, undefeated amateur MMA fighter, now an undefeated pro, 10-0, I think. Champ in North Iowa fights, which we've been seeing a lot of guys that have fought in there on this season. I don't know if the UFC is specifically scouting that organization or what.
Robbie Lawler.
Yeah. Yeah. And he also was champion in new line cage fighting. So Gant, has obviously really good hips. He's a great wrestler. He's strong in the body lock. Will throw knees from that position. I've seen him get to good positions on the ground. Likes to throw strikes from half guard, gets to the back, and I kind of like that he's willing to kind of take what you give him sometimes and just do damage from the half guard instead of always trying to get to mount first or always trying to get to the back, at all costs. Cardio also, I think, is pretty good. Seems like he's training at DC's new gym, the Academy or whatever it is they're calling it. I mean, he's really fought no one, but
yes,
I think he's kind of just taking what he can get, really. I mean, on the regional scene, there's not a lot of guys that are probably going to want to fight him. It's tough for guys to get fights on the regionals that are, good prospects. I think that's probably the case here. That's probably the explanation for kind of the low level of competition. But Livingstone, on the other hand, I think, is going to be his toughest opponent. Livingstone was amateur champion in flex fights. He's the pro champion there too. He's been on LFA and CFFC. He's also undefeated at only 6-0 though. And, just off the rip to me, it seemed like Livingstone was the way sharper striker. I think he's shown in some instances a decent ability to defend takedowns. Now, I don't know how much he really has off of his back, but I think he has, like a decent sprawl. He's a very long fighter as well. And yeah, I don't know. I kind of like his game a little bit better, to be honest with you. I like Livingstone, and I kind of feel like this is like a pick'em fight.
it is.
I don't really think that Gant is like, I don't know. I think on the feed, it's going to be Livingstone, and I just need to see if Gant's going to be able to wrestle him and get him down and hold him down
Mhm.
and, do his damage on the ground, which he might be able to do. But I don't know. I haven't seen enough to want to get behind Gant and chalk Price. So I think it's Dogger Pass. I'm going to go with Livingstone here.
Yeah, like when I'm looking at this fight yesterday or 2 days ago, I think Gant was a underdog. Now all of a sudden he's a minus 160 favorite. Uh, Pass, yeah. 2 cents said it best. It's an absolute pass from a betting perspective, but I am really intrigued from a prospect perspective because I would love for him to kind of go in there and roll over Livingston or Livingstone, if that's how you're pronouncing it, with all due respect. But yeah, it should be an interesting one. I got Gant. We got the disagreement. Minus 160 again. The plus 125 on either of these fighters, I would suggest in a fight like this. I think it's going to be close, but I think someone's going to sleep. I don't know why. Next fight, 205, Iwo Barnowski taking on Muhammad Ali. Very credentialed grappler here in Muhammad Ali, who's made his trip over to MMA. The dude is an absolute unit. Fighting Lloyd Irvin's gym. Just another guy who doesn't throw a whole lot of volume, but when he does throw, it tends to put people down. Went to a decision with Jerry Gooden in a fight I could not find anywhere. But, I guess he's fighting Jerry Gooden at 205. So that's, something there. He's trying to, get those elite types of prospects. The other guys he's fighting, haven't been all that great, but I mean, he's going in there and throwing brutal head kicks, putting away 1-6 opponent and Derek Bradley by just spamming head kicks. He's a good, very good grappler. Hasn't really shown it in his MMA career yet. I'm a little bit worried about Jorge Gurgel syndrome. He towers and he's like so much bigger than Iwo Barnowski. It's hard to get past that for me. Iwo 6-0 or 5-0, I should say, 26-year-old fighter here. Fought, all of his fights with Babylon MMA. Not a great level of competition either. Has shown some, arm bars, some ability on the ground here, but I just think with Muhammad Ali, that would be ill-advised. I think he will have a speed advantage. I think volume could also be a key for Muhammad as well. He just kind of throws slow and single shots, like I said for Huang a minute ago. So for me, I just see a lot of realms where Muhammad Ali gets very tired and gassed and starts to look kind of slow and gets put away by Iwo. It's dog or pass for me in this spot. If I guess, for my pick, I'll take Ali to get the finish. And I would hope by submission, but I'm really afraid of Jorge Gurgel syndrome and him ending up kind of gassing out and getting danced around by Iwo. So I totally get anybody taking a shot on Iwo here. But I'll take the Brazilian freak and Muhammad Ali. I hope he gets a finish. Why not?
Yeah, Barniewski's the Babylon champion, has a world in MMA. Oh, sorry, a world and European MMA championship as an amateur. And, he's big, not as big as Muhammad Ali is, but he's big, he's thick, he's got really big legs as well. And, seeing some good grappling instincts. I think he's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
He likes to get to the body lock. And yeah, I think he looks like he knows what he's doing when he gets down there, immediately looking to control the far side wrist upon getting guys down. And I think he seems pretty heavy on top. Just seems like a powerful guy in general. And then on the other side, he seems like, a tough guy to get down. Doesn't really have like super tight boxing. He's kind of likes to get inside and kind of throw bombs, which, I think that's a somewhat of a viable strategy here. Ali, on the other hand, is a super decorated jiu-jitsu player. He's an IBJJF world champion in the gi and no gi. I think he's won the European Open, both gi and no gi, and he has a bunch of other high finishes at other prestigious events. And you look at the names that he's just competed against in jiu-jitsu, and it's basically everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alfeo Lovato Jr., Leandro Lowe, Nick Rodriguez, Marcus Buchecha, like a bunch of guys, pretty much everybody. And in the MMA world, he's a 4-0 fighter. He beat Jared Gooden in his last fight, and that's a pretty good win. Whatever you think of Jared Gordon, not many 3-0 guys are going to be beating him. And Ali loves to kick, really doesn't care if he gets taken down. Of course, he's got oblique kicks, body kicks, head kicks, axe kicks. We've seen everything out of him, and has pretty good power as well, it seems. And he's pretty patient. I would like to see him be a little bit higher volume, but it seems to be working for him now. I think that he's probably the better fighter at range here, in my opinion. I think just as a general rule, he's probably a lot better at range than he is in tight. So Barniewski, I think he does need to crowd him, get in tight, try to land big shots. And I think that Ali, would be okay with Barniewski taking him down if that's what he decides to do. And also Barniewski he's not a zero on the mat. He's a brown belt. I think he has some maybe like European ADCC event experience of some kind. But yeah, Ali just looked real big at the face-offs, and
gigantic. He looks like RoboCop on steroids.
He yeah, if he wasn't already.
Allegedly.
But I was kind of expecting to want to bet Ewo here, and was kind of looking for a reason to do it, but I don't know. I just can't get there. I mean, at the price, I don't want to bet Ali, but yeah, I don't think I'm going to be involved on either side in this one, although I kind of wanted to at the beginning. But I'm just uncertain if, the domineering physical style of Barniewski is going to be able to work on Ali, seeing, how big he is. And obviously he's an excellent grappler. And I think he's okay at range as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, this is the Brazilian Muhammad Ali with the kicks and grappling, correct, Action Jackson. And he is the stiff one as well. You have the right Muhammad Ali, Brazilian grappler. Minus 230. He's gotten 10 extra points, as we've been talking here. Plus 175 on Iwu now. So, money coming in on Muhammad after that weigh-in, I can kind of understand it. Like, if your approach against Muhammad Ali is to be physical, that is, it's a bold move. But we'll see how it pays off again. It should be an interesting fight. Could get real sloppy, though. All right, on to the featured fight of the night. And they've finally gotten a featured fight correct, in my opinion. I think there's some really good fights on here, but this one I think is the best one. Hector Sosa. Guachian Warrior taking on Maxim Lee. Sosa, big fan. We're a big fan here in the Dome of Mr. Sosa. We have been for a long time. I really am excited about this fight. Maxim Lee is a freak. Very, very tall fighter, I believe 6'1", fighting at 135, bringing back the Pablo Garza Scarecrow days here. Foley, we'll see if that chin is the same or not. He's gotten to test himself in his last few with LFA after, early on in his career, facing nobody. Last two, this Matthias Suarez fight, very good fight there. Got really tested in that fight as well. Ended up getting a really slick Darce choke in that one. And then finishing Felipe Zacaran in the last fight at LFA 201 as well. He's long, uses his knees really, really well. He's a slick grappler on the ground, gets some chokes from ankles. I feel like that surprised opponents, and everything like that. I like Maxon on the feet. I feel like a lot of times he's just kind of waiting and not doing a whole lot, just kind of throwing his arms around and like just leaving himself, I feel like, open at times defensively. I think he does the tall man defense. He backs up straight up with his chin exposed. I think things that eventually could be exposed by a higher level opponent. And I do think that Hector Sosa is the highest level opponent he's faced by a wide range. Spaniard, 13-1, 30 years old now. I think this is going to be a really good fight. I really do enjoy watching Sosa. Very well-rounded. In the voice audio with reporter asking Hector, who do you want to thank? I want to thank myself for the victory. So he's not lacking confidence here. Either. I think that's a big key facing a guy like Maxon. Maxon, he's very dangerous in the striking and the grappling here. Has a significant reach advantage, I think, probably 5 inches or so, if I had to guess. But at the same point, I don't think that Maxon Lee has been incredibly tested, and I do think that there could be some physicality, differences in the strength here. I think Maxon looks rather skinny, looks like he cuts, a lot of weight, but I am not sure about the strength he's going to be able to build at 135 with that frame. So I got Souza here. I think he catches him. Maybe a club and sub, but some sort of finish here for Souza. I think he's going to be really aggressive and get into range on Maxon here. So I bet this dog. He's my favorite dog on the card. I got Hector Souza by, let's say, club and sub. Why not?
Sosa 13-1 out of Spain, and the UFC is definitely looking for more Spanish talent. It's an MMA market that's on the rise. LFA is going out there, and this guy was champion in FCR in Sweden. Now he's a champion at WOW, which is Ilia Topuria's affiliated promotion in Spain, and he's beaten Bilal Tipsayev. That's a decent fighter from the All Stars gym, and to win the WOW belt, he beat a younger guy that was a very good amateur fighter, and he's fast. He's athletic. He has nice hands. I like the way he goes to the body. Good combination puncher. Has some kicks as well. On the other side is going to be Maxon Lee, undefeated 26-year-old out of Brazil. He was champ in Avalanche FC in Brazil. That's not a show that I'm familiar with.
No.
Fought a pro debutant for the belt, so that was interesting. So had not really faced very strong opposition until his last 2 fights. He won both. On LFA against solid guys, and Lee, obviously the size is what everybody's talking about. He's 6'1" at bantamweight, which is gigantic. Likes to throw a lot of spinning stuff, and he's really long for this weight as well. He has a 75-inch reach. He's got good killer instinct. He just has so much upside, in my opinion. And for me, he's not really the typical huge bantamweight that has massive holes in his game, which doesn't mean he doesn't have a few, because he does. But, to me, Lee is a really good fighter who's also huge. I don't really see him as like a fighter who's only good because he's huge. I like Maxon Lee here. And this is another one, kind of like the last one, where I really thought I was going to want to bet the dog, but I just can't get there. I think Maxon Lee, I think he's got a lot of upside. I think he looks pretty good. And I just feel like this guy, with all of the intangibles that he has, it's going to take something a little bit better than Hector Sosa to expose him. But I am a Hector Sosa fan.
Yeah.
Thought I was going to like him, but after looking into it, I got to go with Maxon Lee.
Totally understandable. Yeah, Hector Sosa is one of my bets at plus 140. I also, currently am considering, a favored parlay with Raphael and Patty and Muhammad. But honestly, I might just stick with the one play on the dog. We'll real quick go over the card, and then we will take off. But, in the opener, I got Raphael Chekbu winning that fight. I think that ends up going to a decision there. Did we agree on that first fight?
We did indeed.
Okay. And then we both are on Patty. We disagree on Tommy Gant and Adam Livingstone. Muhammad Ali for both of us. And then a disagreement in the main or featured fight with Maxon Lee on your side and Hector Sosa and a bet on my side. That is going to do it for this card. Early afternoon breakdown here for Aaron the Dog, for Lucky Locks, for Moise, just my 2 cents. Action Jackson, everybody in the chat, appreciate y'all. We'll see you next week for week 7. Peace.